Hey y'all, it's Alicia Hawkins, your go-to transformational alchemist, coming to you from this beautiful, beautiful space again this morning. Honestly, feeling really raw and vulnerable and emotional, but I'm choosing to show up and connect with you guys and connect with myself and connect with Source and allow the message that needs to be heard channeled through me today, because that's what my soul is asking for. So even though in my humanness I feel like I have snot running out of my nose and I might even cry a little bit, or I might laugh. Laughter is really good. So if you guys are watching live or on the replay and you have anything funny that you feel called to share, I'm totally open to that. But I have been kind of oscillating between the two, tears and laughter this morning. And I'm so thankful. I just found this up on this rock up here behind me. When I moved over to this spot, because I've been to like literally 4 or 5 different spots this morning trying to figure out where I felt most comfortable live stream and connect with you guys. And this was the spot I was called to go to. And then I found this beautiful blue rock with a flower and sunshine. And it's a beautiful reminder that everything is happening for us. We're always loved, we're always protected, and that the universe is here to support us, and we can love and support and nourish ourselves and open up to receiving even more of that from our community. So I'm hoping to receive that from you guys today too, if you feel called to share. Obviously not obligated, but this is a lot more, trying to think of the reframe. I was going to say a lot more challenging than I expected it to be, but that's okay, right? It's just, I'm just building this vulnerability muscle, and I set out the intention to do that. And I guess sometimes to do that, you actually have to be in a super real, raw, aligned, and vulnerable space to build that muscle, right? Who would have thought? Just like when you lift weights at the gym, you actually have to feel the resistance and pick up that weight to build that muscle. So it's the same mentally and emotionally and energetically as well. And I'm just going to breathe through it. So if you're like, what the fuck, Alicia, what's going on? Why are you so crazy today? It's because today would have been my papa's. Today would have been my papa's birthday. And apparently I haven't fully processed his death all the way through. And I wasn't expecting to be so emotional about it today. And there's a lizard. I was wondering what that was. And that's okay, right? You gotta feel it to heal it. And it's okay to cry by yourself, and it's okay to cry in safe spaces. And I created this group to be a safe space, and so I intend to act like I believe that and step into that, which is so freaking perfect that this is the message I downloaded for today anyways, right? And because this is me showing up in the next level version of myself, consciously choosing to do that even when it's uncomfortable, knowing that it's the aligned action I was called to take right now, and I can trust that, and I can trust myself to show up and be real and raw and authentic and vulnerable with you guys in this way, and still trust that the message will come through, and that whoever needs to hear this will be magnetized and will connect and receive exactly what it is that they need in this moment, live or on the replay. And I'm not seeing anybody live or any comments again. So, by the way, if you're hopping on live or in the replay, I would love, 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 especially today, if you let me know who you are, who you are and what you love and what you're grateful for today. And I'm grateful for so many things, and the ability to process my emotions and the ability to step into my courage and my willingness to show up here with you guys and hold to my commitment, but also do so in a way that feels really loving and kind and supportive to myself. Dragonfly. And to grow into my next level and to be an embodiment of my message in this moment right now, right? Like how amazing and beautiful and divine is that? I'm grateful for the ability to breathe through it and to know that this too shall pass. And have some gratitude for my ability to trust that the message is just going to come out however it wants to, and that'll be okay, right? Because earlier when I was running and walking, I was feeling more in my power and in my strength, and I do feel that, but in a different way right now. And I was feeling that more in the masculine energy, I guess, before. And I was thinking I would hop on here live and be like, boom, 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 really structured for once out in nature. And then I sat down, and every time I would go live, I just started thinking about my papa. And the tears start flowing a little bit, and I get emotional. And so I need to give myself some time to process through that. And give myself some grace and recognize that I'm human and these are normal emotions and things that we go through. And just like I wouldn't stop showing up for my daughter if I was going through a grieving process, and even if I felt a little bit messy and vulnerable, and like I need a little bit extra love and support from myself and from my community, I would still absolutely and always show up for my daughter. That's the level of commitment that I made to myself, to show up in that way with that amount of love and commitment for my business. And since I made that commitment and I set that intention, this is me embodying that, right? And this is the process. This is the practical how-to of stepping into your next level with a live example. So, that first step is always having clarity on what it is that your soul is craving, what it is that your heart desires. And that vision, that bold vision to compel and pull you forward. And then from there, it's, making that commitment, making that decision, making that choice, setting that intention that you will actualize that bold vision in your physical reality. Right? You'll manifest it. And a lot of manifesting has to do with your being, right? So your thoughts and your emotions and your energy, your frequency vibing at the level that your desired manifestation lives at. But there's also another critical piece, and that is the action, right? And not only any type of action, but aligned action. And so when you break those down, you can then give yourself grace and the time and space that you need to process through whatever it is that you're going through right now, but also stay connected to the outcome, stay connected to your vision, stay connected to who it is that you're committed to being, and connect into what that aligned action will look like for you in each and every moment. And when it comes to those next level results that you want, right? And so in business, that is probably like those 5, 10, 20K months, and whatever number of clients that looks like, that feels really good for you, or customers in your courses, or people that purchase your ebook, or whatever it is that you're selling, your sessions, your healing. whatever way it is that you're being of service, that next level that you want to open up and receive and manifest will require you to step into your next level version of yourself, the person that vibrates at that level, right? And so in practical terms, you can look kind of at who you've been in the past, right? And assuming that you're the type of person that's continually growing and evolving, and the words that are coming in my mouth is like getting better and better, but I don't feel like that's really aligned to say in this moment, but that concept. All right, we're just gonna go there. So, in a practical example that everyone should be able to relate to in your life, right? To give you an example of who I used to be in the past, I've always been the type of person that's worked out in some capacity at some points in my life, more disciplined than other times, and before I met my husband and had my daughter, I would not identify as a runner, right? I would actively tell people that I hated running. I didn't understand why people would do that. Hey, Stacy, thanks for hopping on live. You missed the beginning where I preface this with the fact that I'm a little bit emotional today, and I'm processing my own stuff, and I'm embodying what it means to step into your next level, because today would have been my grandfather's birthday, and apparently I've still got a little bit more emotional stuff to process, and I haven't fully processed his death a few years ago, so this is just me showing up real, raw, and authentically, and I might need a few moments to pause and breathe through this, or have some tears pop up, but I made the commitment to show up and to share more vulnerably and connect with my community, and this is me holding that commitment and following through with that intention, and I really appreciate you showing up here live, and thank you for the like. So I was talking about, this concept of your next level reality, essentially, right? So that money that you say that you want, that you've never achieved yet or manifested into your reality, and that number of soulmate clients or customers will require you to step into that next level version of yourself, right? And so on a practical level, that will require you to change your thinking and the way that you're showing up emotionally, and the way that you're processing your emotions, and really like how quickly it is that you process through them, and your energy level, and where it is that you're vibing at, and your ability to take aligned and inspired action in order to do your part to co-create with the universe and open up to receive that next level that it is you desire, right? So in business terms, typically people want those 5, 10, 20K months, or 50K or 100K, whatever it is that they haven't achieved yet, but they know in their heart is for them. So yeah, actually, if you guys are watching live or on the replay, I would love it if you let me know, what is that next level that you're currently calling in? What is it that your heart is calling and craving for? And we'll see maybe about doing some live workshopping on here. As I ground more into myself, right? And so sometimes this concept really trips people up, because like the way one of my mentors teaches it, I think she says, like, yeah, she just did a training about becoming the 2.0 you version, I think is what she called it. And with the way she does journaling questions, she says something like, well, if I already had, so let's just say 20K months as an example, 20K months, what would I be doing in this moment? What would I be thinking? What would I be feeling? Where would I be vibing at, right? And sometimes people can tend to block themselves from knowing that answer, because they're like, well, I don't know, I'm not there yet, right? And I can relate to that too. And so I've always done a version of this exercise in my own life, and I didn't always see it through that framework. So I'm going to do my best to show up and share that with you guys today. So if those questions you feel like you're blocked around, or are struggling with, what you can do is go back to like a past version of yourself that didn't have the results that you have today, and you can kind of track your success and look at your different patterns and look at where you've grown and shifted when it comes to your thought processes and the emotional states that you were residing in for the majority of that time in your life, and where your energy was vibing at, and the actions that we were taking, or lack of actions even, right? And so I was sharing about how, getting this bug off my hand, before I met my husband and had my daughter, I would work out at different times in my life. I'm more disciplined than others, but I never identified as a runner, and I used to tell people like I hated running and I don't understand how people like that, and I have asthma, I can't, like all these excuses and things like that. And because I did not identify as a runner, I did not have the results of a runner, and I could not perform like a runner on a very basic level, right? And so that same concept is true in your business. Every time you want to, do you guys hear that? Every time you want to break an income plateau or go to that next level in your business, you have to really do some internal work around your identity and seeing yourself as the person that is capable and aligned with manifesting and having that in your physical reality. And if you have a hard time connecting with what that would look like, you can look at what it would be like for you in the past and the way that you've manifested and your own personal processes, right? And so I remember, this is good, laughing is good. I need some extra laughter in my life today. I can remember when I had my daughter, thinking and making the decision and committing to learning how to run, if for no other reason than for her own safety. Because I just had this knowing that she was going to be a runner, and it's amazing the way that's totally manifested in a different way than I expected. But if nothing else, right, like toddlers grow up and they crawl and then they walk and then they run, and I wanted to be the mother that could run out into the road fast enough to save her in case she ran out in traffic on a very like basic survival level, nothing like if nothing else, right? And so for me that's where it started. And then also my husband's in the military, and so he's been running for like a decade, right? And they teach you and put you through this whole training process in boot camp when you first go in, and then he has to go in and he gets up like super early in the mornings to go run with his soldiers and stuff, right? And so that's a standard for him, and he wanted to be married to somebody that he'd go out running with and have that enjoyable experience and could keep up. And you know, we joke around like if the zombie apocalypse happens or something, we want to be able to stay together as a family unit and all hold our own weight and be in our own power and all this stuff. But that's a whole other thing, right? So when I was going through that process, the first thing I had to do was be willing to identify as a runner. And then what I did was began to look for information on like the mindsets of runners, right? Like what type of thoughts were they thinking? The first thing that I had to shift was around telling myself that I am capable of running and I love running and I can breathe when I run. Like those are some of my mantras, and every day in every way I'm getting better and better at this and reaffirming what it was that I wanted in my life. Because up until that point, I had, when I was running, been telling myself in my mind, oh my God, I hate this. This shit's terrible. I can't breathe. I can't reach that mark over there. I can't run a mile straight through. Like, I'm just not one of those people. And so when you think those thoughts and you speak those words to yourself, your brain and your body is listening. So that's when it manifests into your physical reality. And I couldn't reach those results because I was programming and telling myself that I couldn't, right? So I had to begin to shift my mindset and my thoughts and tell myself that I could. And the more that I began to align with that, my hands cramp it up. The more that I began to align with that, and the more that I continued to step into and take those practical actions, the more I began to build those muscles, my mental and emotional muscles, and build up the physical energy in my body, and obviously vibrating different too. And And now I go out and I run every day, and I can outrun my daughter still. She's growing, she's super fast, and might even be an Olympic runner one day. So we'll see. We'll see how I continue to step up my running game. And I'm not for sure at the level my husband is yet, but I can keep up with him for certain amounts, and I'm constantly growing and striving and pushing in that area. And I identify as a runner today, right? And so, in a practical sense, and this example of my life, I've been able to reap those rewards and those benefits of running, and I actually really enjoy it now. Sometimes it's really therapeutic, and like all these amazing rewards and benefits I had no idea about when I didn't identify as a runner, right? And so I get to reap those rewards because I consciously chose to actively and consistently step into that next level version of myself that would align with that. And the same is true for anything that you want to manifest in your life and business as well. And so that can be a really helpful way to learn how to step into this, is by looking at your processes in the past and translating that concept over into your present moment. And then another thing that I do to kind of pull the future vision down into my present reality is exactly what I said earlier too, right? And so in terms of making more money in my business and showing up more authentically and allowing myself to connect and to stretch myself and to grow into that next level version of myself that has like those 100K months and really increases my impact and is showing up and able to energetically hold more space and in my power more and in my boldness more and really just living out and fulfilling my soul's mission and sharing my message and connecting with those that need what it is I have to offer in bigger and bolder ways. I have mentors and coaches and healers and people that I work with, and I listen to the things that they say, right? I'm constantly, and I've been doing this, I didn't consciously know it, but I've been doing this type of thing ever since I was a kid, because when I was younger, grew up really poor. Like at one point, I can remember like we were living in a motel, and my brother and sister and I were sharing a bed, and my mom and her boyfriend were sleeping on the couch. And then at other times, like we lived in upstate New York and didn't have electricity. And so growing up with like lack in my physical reality, I had those poverty thoughts and scarcity mindset. And then later, long story short, for those of you who don't know me and haven't heard this story before, my mom got us out of like an abusive situation, and she really stepped into her next level self, I guess, now that I think about it, and I'm so thankful for that too. But she got us into a much better environment and situation, and I found myself in high school being surrounded by millionaires and billionaires, and I can remember like going to school with kids who had like basketball courts in their houses and helicopter pads on top, right? And so that like blew my mind, coming from where I'd come from, and also being in high school and seeing the transformation. I had already gotten into like personal development and that kind of stuff at that point. It was like the thing that saved my life in a lot of ways. Whew. It's okay. Tears are okay. To remind myself of that sometimes. So what would happen is when I would go over to these kids' houses to do homework, or, you know, the kids' parents would come to school, I was always so interested in what they did for a living. I couldn't wrap my mind around how they had helicopter pads in their houses and basketball courts inside their house and were driving like Porsches and Lamborghinis and stuff, when that was not the reality that I grew up with when I was younger, right? And so I knew that there was a difference in the way that they were thinking. I could just tell like the way that they held themselves was different. And so I would begin to like pick their brain, constantly ask like a ton of questions, find out what they did for a living. And I found out that a lot of them actually were CEOs of companies, and they invented things or had to climb their way up and things like that. So that gave me a clue into, okay, well, if I want those type of results for myself one day, And in the beginning, it started out as, I want to make sure I always am able to put food on the table for my children and have the electricity on and be able to have the basics and then know more than that. And then if I was really going to allow myself to be brave enough to dream big dreams and to manifest what I saw all those other people being able to do, I started to recognize that I would have to learn how to think differently. And these other people, they didn't seem to have so much darkness around them, I guess is the way to say. And that's not to say that rich people don't have darkness, but the vibe was just different. And I wouldn't have known to call it that when I was younger, but I could feel a shift, and I could see that they processed their emotions differently, and that they handled their decision making differently, and that they took different types of action. So I essentially was like studying that kind of stuff even back in like high school, because I wanted to know. And then I would begin to see how those same principles were applicable in my own life and how I could shift and transform into that. And I was conscious of doing that at different times in my life, more than others, and definitely have had my own ups and downs and recreated some of my own childhood life with being homeless at one point in my 20s and blowing up a relationship and lots of chaos and things like that. But then I was able to really dig in deep to this personal development thing and found Tony Robbins and went to his events and actually crewed his events. That's what this shirt is from. And really committed to myself and have constantly, consciously done it ever since then. I guess that was back in 2009 when I essentially burned my life to the ground and wanted to do something different, and I felt that there was more within me that was just waiting to be unleashed, and I was tired of my own bullshit, right? And so that's another thing too about stepping into your next level version of yourself. There has to be leverage. There has to be that point of actually making that decision, and not just saying you've made the decision and then not following through and not committing. There has to be this point of like no return where you burn the bridges and you're 100% all in, no matter what, and you'll do what it takes until it takes, no matter what it takes, right? And that's true. Like that's just the reality of it. And I'm sure that when you think back over different things in your life and how you've grown and you've changed and transformed, you can see that it all started with that decision, right? And sometimes it came out of pain. Like when the pain gets great enough, you make a decision to do something different, even when it's uncomfortable or you're unsure, you can't see the whole path before you, or you don't know exactly how it's going to unfold. And then other times, hopefully, thankfully, and what I'm growing into more now is being compelled by that beautiful pleasure and vision moving forward, and allowing that to be what helps me make that decision to shift. Snap with a rock in your hand. And laugh at yourself, right? So just like I used to kind of like sit back and study other people that I admired and had the results. And this is really important too, not coming from a comparison level and not coming from jealousy or envy or putting them on a pedestal, right? Those are all things that can block us from manifesting what it is that we want and those next level results and stepping into a next level version of ourselves. It's more about coming from that energy of neutrality and curiosity. And, like a good question to ask yourself or to journal on is, what would it take for me to welcome in these next level results, right? And so that example would be like that 20K in my business or 100K or whatever it is. And also really not even just about the money so much, but what that money would mean, right? Like where would you be using those resources? So for me and my company, like we donate, we give back. And one of the big bold visions that I have and one of the reasons that I'm committed to going to the next level of my business is because I know that a few years from now, hopefully maybe sooner is the plan, but we'll go with divine timing. I'm going to have, the word that keeps coming in the vision is like a halfway house, but I don't think that's totally it. But like a safe house for women that have been caught up in human trafficking and sex slaves, right? And that's really near and dear to my heart. And that requires money, right? And so if I have the capacity to create more money in my business, then absolutely Like, why would I not, right? Of course, because there's challenges and it requires us to step up, right? But if that's like the 3-year vision and goal and intention for myself, I have to start where I'm at today to continue to stretch and grow into that next level version of myself, right? And so I stay connected to my vision and to my soul's mission and to what it is my soul craves, and how receiving that next level amount of money will support me and myself and my family, and right in that ripple effect, and then how I can transform and be the change I want to see in the world, in my local community and my global community, and just on and on and on from there, right? And so, and everyone that I receive money for, right, because money comes through connection with other people, that means that that's another life that I get to serve and impact and help transform. And then that means that they get to go and live their divine soul's mission and fulfill what it is that they came here to do in this lifetime, which is so incredibly fulfilling for me. And just that's part of my soul's mission. That's so locked in to help activate people to live into their highest potential, right? And it's that beautiful ripple effect of bringing more love and light onto this planet. So those are some things that help compel me to continually show up and to take those uncomfortable next level actions and build those muscles and stretch into that until that's my new normal, right? So to bring it back down to that, right, and so even me showing up on live stream today is an example, an embodiment of this message in so many different ways. But one of the things I committed to in my business a few months ago, and then to myself and to my dreams, and I'm feeling it in my throat. It's okay, we're just going to breathe through that energy and let it process and give ourselves the grace to be where we're at, right? So also, if this is making sense, if this is resonating, if you can relate and see how, this process is applicable to you in your life in the past, or how you could step into this in the future, I would love some hearts, or to let me know in the comments below too, if you're watching live or on the replay. And if you have any questions, want me to dive deeper or articulate more, absolutely post them in here. And if you're not watching live, beautiful dragonfly, if you're not watching live, I will love to connect with you and come back and answer them in the comments, or create some other type of video or post to support you in that. Because that's what my mentors do for me, right? And that's something I value deeply, is paying it forward and giving back, right? And moving my butt when it gets sore from sitting on this rock for so long, right? Stacey said, "Thank you for sharing. It takes courage to show up and be our true self." Oh my God, yes it does. Thank you for saying that, Stacey. I open to receive that so much more today than I would have yesterday or in the past, and I really, really appreciate that today when I'm especially feeling extra vulnerable. So thank you for that. Yeah, it does. It takes a lot of courage. And the beautiful thing is that courage is like a muscle, right? We have the ability to strengthen that muscle. And so this is a hell of a lot easier for me, and takes a lot less courage for me to do today than it would have a year ago. And in fact, I know I wouldn't have, because I didn't do it in my business a year ago. So and that's the thing too about like our next level versions of ourselves. You can see your progression, see what you were unwilling to do and what you weren't ready to do and what you weren't aligned with doing in the past, and how every little baby step forward builds that muscle, and it makes a difference, right? It makes that ripple, and it allows you to do today what you couldn't have done a year ago, and what you're doing today that's maybe a little bit uncomfortable will be like a breeze and so natural and normal for you a year from now, right? The more that you stay committed to your evolution, your soul's evolution, and boldly stepping into that next level version of yourself, right? And so I can remember when I started working with Kat Laterzo, or actually Katrina Ruth is what she just changed her name to. She talks about this a lot too, but she's like a fucking content machine. she's like live streaming all the time and writing these epic long, like heartfelt blog posts. I read one of hers earlier today about forgiving yourself for being you. And of course I bawled like a baby before I hopped on live, but it was really good. It was amazing. And like she sets, regardless of what you think of her and her craziness, and remembering that she's human and she's got her own shit that she's dealing with, just like I do and you do and we all do. She sets this beautiful example for showing up boldly and staying committed to your soul's mission and authentically sharing your truth and your message no matter what, and activating her magic, right? And so I was really inspired by that, and I really appreciated the way that she shows up and the work that she does in the world. And in the past, I haven't shown up so consistently with my content creation and my business because it's been a struggle for me. It's been a challenge. And part of that was because I wasn't aligned. But the more that I continued to show up and to seek clarity and just to take the next step and the next step, the more that I stepped into myself and my soul and allowed it to unfold before me what it was that my soul's mission actually was, and what it was, like allowed that bubbling up of my divine truth and my magic to come out of me. And the more that I work with people and do my own mindset work and healing, the more I'm able to release the blocks and shake off the dense energies and just the shit that no longer serves me, the more that I'm able to step into that. And so I came to this point, actually more specifically really an even deeper level of commitment after working with Amanda Frances recently, making the commitment to show up for my community, and first and foremost that means showing up for myself so that I have a full cup to show up for you guys, right? And then letting that be something that I really love and enjoy and comes from my heart, and whereas in the past it used to feel like an obligation or like, oh my God, how can I do that? And Maru is a great example of this too. I'm in her Infinite Receiving Tribe, and she's this beautiful example of showing up and stretching and being imperfect and continuing to expand your capacity, right? And so I have all these mentors that have been a beautiful inspiration, and with that, I've seen them grow through their own processes and through their own shit. And I've gotten the behind the scenes of what that looks like for them, and I've been able to translate that concept into what that looks like for me too. And then I support my clients in this as well, because like I said, I have my own versions of things that I've been doing since high school that I've perfected. And I do like a deeper identity type of exercise and healing work with my clients when we work one-on-one that's just transformational. Like in one session, they come out stepping into that next level version of themselves, and so incredibly amazing and beautiful and fulfilling. So anyways, I made that decision to be showing up and posting at least twice a day on my pages and social media accounts, so that my ideal soulmate clients who need what it is I have to offer have a way to connect with me and can be supported by me. And then I also made the commitment to showing up live, either via video or the Facebook Live audio, at least 3 times a week. And then I try and stretch myself into that as well, but that's the commitment that I hold to. And then even deeper than that, I made that commitment to show up authentically and vulnerably and real and raw, even when I felt messy and uncomfortable, right? And so this is me doing that, embodying that right now. And even this too is so beautiful in the way that it transmutes, because, you know, I set that intention earlier, and the sun is coming, I'm getting really hot. It's like probably close to 90 degrees now and humid, so let's see if we can find some shade. I set that intention earlier, and then, you know, began processing my emotions with my grandfather and all that stuff unexpectedly. And a past version of myself would have shut off my emotions and been unwilling to process those out in the name of hustle, in the name of just getting shit done and showing up. And that doesn't feel aligned for me anymore, because I've been able to grow through that. And the next variation of that, you know, an older version of me would have been to not show up at all and just give myself like the time off, and really the excuse and self-sabotage of playing small in the name of I need to cry and have my emotions. And take 10 years to process that. And so by all means, cry and process and give it your own time that you need. But I knew in this moment, for me, if I chose to do that, that would be me playing small. And so I went back and forth with crying and processing and releasing. And then I also, the thing that for me was next level version, actually reached out in Maru's Infinite Receiving Tribe. And I just shared that I need some extra love and support today, and I'm processing through. And then I opened to receive these beautiful messages and this beautiful support, because that's one of those areas that I'm working and growing in, is allowing myself to connect with other people and have those friendships and intimate connections just on a whole nother level. And so for me, that was actually really uncomfortable, but I'm so thankful that I was willing to step into that next level version of myself. And I had that conscious moment and that resistance. And in the past, I've felt those promptings of my soul, and that's what I wanted, but I was unwilling to allow myself to do that. And so today I consciously was like, okay, the next level version of me would step into that more. I would put that post out there, and I would trust and believe, and I would open to receive that love and support. And it was beautiful. And I got to reap that next level reward. And I'm so thankful for that, right? And then once I continually filled and nourished myself up, I reconnected with the divine and did a meditation and just trusted that it was safe and okay and aligned for me to show up and connect with you guys here and provide value and to let you see me, who I am today on July 13th, 2017, in my real raw form. And for those of you that have been following me for a while, you'll know that this is growth for me. And for those of you that maybe are going to be watching this video in the future, a year from now, we'll see how much more I've grown into my next level version of myself then too, right? And so it's all this beautiful evolution. That's what our souls came here to do, is just to grow and evolve and expand, right? And so it takes courage to do that sometimes. So I guess hopefully that explained it and broke it down a little bit with some more practical examples for you and a little bit more of the how-to. And now it's up to you, right? I've done my part. I've supported you. I've shown up and let you know that it's possible. And I've given you a little bit of the breakdowns around the how of it. And if you need more clarity, absolutely post it in the comments or make another post in the group, and I'll be there to support you and break it down in another manner until we can work on you getting that, because this is so powerful and life-changing, transformative. But it's up to you, right? So take some time and create it in your schedule, either today or tomorrow or soon. And Stacy says, you have such kind energy. Keep up the great work. Oh, thank you so much, Stacy. Thank you. Yeah, and it's receiving messages like that too that nourish me and light me up and reconnect me to my purpose. And I love working with amazing souls. It's so fulfilling and so fun and what I'm here to do. So thank you. I really appreciate that, especially today. Because it does. Some days it's effortless and easy and aligned to keep doing this great work, and other days it takes that little nudging and it takes going against the resistance and continually recalibrating back into alignment. But even as I've been showing up and sharing and connecting with you here, I can feel my vibe is raising. I'm coming back into my power and I feel so much better, right? And it's so fulfilling, and I feel so connected to my soul and my divine life's mission and my magic, and sharing my message and just knowing like, this is what I was born for. So thank you for witnessing that and holding this space to receive that as well. I really appreciate that. So yeah, I want to hear from you guys. What are your commitments, right? So spend some time to create that clarity and tap into your bold vision. What is it that your next level rewards look like specifically? Is it those 20K months? Is it 5 new clients this month? Is it hosting an event, writing your book and publishing it? Like specifically, I want to hear from you guys and keep you accountable and hold that support for you, just like it's been held for me. And I continually hold myself accountable to as well. So post them in the comments. And then also, I want you to take it a step further and post what that next level version of yourself would be thinking, feeling, believing, vibing, like what vibration and energy would you be living in consistently, and what actions would you need to take today in order to continually step into that next level version of yourself that manifests and reaps the abundant, beautiful rewards, right? just even like on a practical level, if we take, for example, this water, this abundance of nourishment, which could also be like, if we think about it like money in our business, this is off the beaten path a little bit. And I had to get here going through some trails. And if you watched my Facebook Live yesterday, I kind of talked about that a little bit more. But there's so much beauty and abundance and so much more expansion available to you. And you have to be the one that's willing to commit to loving yourself enough to give that to yourself, right? And have the courage and to move forward and get the support when you need it. So yeah, with that, if you resonate with this message, if it makes sense and you want to dive even deeper with this, I would love to invite you into my Resurrect Your Magic 6-week experience, where we're going to be you're actually going to be getting weekly modules on these topics where I break it down even more, and then daily integration exercises, because we know it's not just a one-hit wonder. Just like running, you have to consistently keep showing up, and I'll be providing you with the tools and techniques and support to help you do that. We're going to be covering how to monetize your soul's mission, message, and magic, how to step into your power and magnetize in all of your heart's desires, and really just get the fucking flow and feel good about the life and business that you're creating for yourself. So if you're interested, there is a link in the group, and I'll pop it here as well once I get back to my car and charge my phone. I think my battery's at like 8%. And that's part of the reason too I'm doing this special pricing today. Why I extended it today is because the world needs more empowered women, right? Like, the transformation that's been available in my life has been because other empowered people have shown up and supported me and guided me and shown me how to step into my own power. And that's part of my soul's mission. And I want to support you guys in doing that as well, so that you can go out there and live your best life and be that example for everyone else. And we can continue to raise the vibration of love and light on this planet. And my husband and I just celebrated our 3-year anniversary on the 11th. And today would have been my grandfather's birthday. And I know he would want me to celebrate. So special price, ends tonight at midnight, $97 for the whole 6-week experience. Totally crazy, but so it came to me in a meditation to honor my own growth, the fact that I burned my relationship to the ground, magnetized in my soulmate twin flame, who I'm so thankful for, who challenges me to continually step into my next level with so much love and compassion, and my growth, that I've been willing to do that and heal my body of endometriosis and have my amazing miracle baby. And in celebration of that and myself, and in celebration of my what would have been my grandfather's birthday, that's why I've done this. So there should be no excuse. If this is resonating with you, if this is what you know your soul needs for that next level of your expansion, to step into that next level of yourself and really go out there and create the life and business that you've been dreaming of, because you so deserve it, then get in on that special today before it expires at midnight. Only $97. Really ridiculous. Should be absolutely no excuse or no reason why, if this is calling to you, you don't give yourself permission to do that. So if you have any other questions on that program, feel free to drop them in the comments or send me a PM. I'm definitely available to answer those as well. And regardless, even if this isn't resonating, that's not the right program for you, then trust that, right? It's about learning to stand in your power and trust yourself more too. And we'll be doing a whole module around intuition, how to integrate that into your life and business in even more powerful ways too. But you know in each and every moment what's right for you, right? And you always have everything within you that you need. You just have to become a clear vessel and give yourself permission to tap in and tune into that. And sometimes we can do that ourselves, and sometimes we need support. And really it's about whatever it is in alignment for you in each and every moment, right? So with that, again, I'm challenging you to set some time aside to get clarity on your next level vision and your next level version of yourself, and what it is you're committing to aligning with. So post that back in the comments below. And as always, I can't wait to connect with you again soon. And thank you so much, Stacy, and for everyone else that's showing up on live and with the replay, for being here with me today, where I'm a little bit extra vulnerable, and I'm feeling so much better now. I feel the love so much, and I'm sending it back for you guys. And it's going to be a beautiful day, celebrating the life and the time that we do have here, right? Because tomorrow is not promised. The next hour isn't promised. So what is it that you're going to do with the time that you have here? Are you going to choose to really live out your soul's purpose and step into your calling and unleash your magic, the thing that you were born to do? Right? Not always comfortable to think about, but it's reality. And it can help get that leverage you need to move forward, because you deserve it. You are so, so worthy. And I want to see you out there boldly shining and sharing and living in alignment and fulfillment, right? So be bold enough to create the life and business that you're dreaming of, because you absolutely deserve it. And I will connect with you again later, beauties. Sending you so much love and light and gratitude and joy and laughter and high vibes your way now. And connect again soon. Bye, y'all.